party to stand.
Happening in Lagos politics. President Bola Tinubu told the governor of the state, Sanwo-Olu, that his sins are forgiven. Is there anything that transpired that the public didn't know?
You see, you all know the drama, all the scenario that played out while the president was on a sojourn abroad. And you all knew what really transpired in connection with the removal
of Obasa,
purported removal of Obasa as the speaker
of the Lagos House of Assembly.
The Lagos House Assembly. And we also saw the drama that played therein. And you will see that during that time, it's like trying to watch your destiny in the public. I think the president was able to come through his magnanimity, and I've always said something that Tinubu knows how to manage crisis when a crisis come to the fore. I want to give kudos to him on that, because he was able to come back and say maybe he saw that there were crevices in the APC Lagos chapter, and he now decided that he has to come up and do the needful by sealing those crevices so that it will not further dent whatever they have been trying to put together as a very and formidable party come 2027. I want to see that Sanwo-Olu too has been a loggerhead with Obasa, Idowu Obasa, the Speaker of Lagos Assembly, for years. They've been having this Cold War brewing between them, and you can see what really transpired to the extent that being the sitting governor, he woo the greater number of the House of Assembly members to his side, to the extent that Obasa was impeached. But ordinarily, there could have been a political solution to it if Governor Sanwo-Olu had done the needful by allowing his father, who is the #1 president of the nation, President Bola Tinubu, to have come back, have a kind of a tete-a-tete talk or adequate briefing of whatever the differences might be between himself and Idowu Obasa. I think that would not have even come to the public domain. They would have settled it amicably. But they allowed that thing to be, and that thing really hurt Tinubu, because Obasa is a staunch ally of President Bola Tinubu, and he knew what he played during his emergency, when he was contesting as president of this nation. And he would not want to wish it away, the input of Obasa, just like that, without trying to wade in and see that all people that matters in the APC party even waded in to see that it does not snowball to something unnecessary that will further cause any damage on the party. I think for GAC and Tinubu to say, his sins are forgiven, I think it cannot be unconnected with that scenario that played out during the impeachment saga.
All right, when you look at Lagos politics, it's more of reality test than a democratic mandate. And like the song they sing all the time, on your mandate we shall stand. Everyone is standing on the mandate of President Bola Tinubu. And what exactly do you think Sanwo-Olu did that warranted Tinubu's anger? Yeah. What's the secrecy? What happened between them?
What Sanwo-Olu did is more deeper than what we are just saying now. Because I was told from a classified information that from Sanwo-Olu withdrew 2 billion naira to a lady, I think it's concubine, and the concubine, the money landed in the APC, PDP, coffer. So I think Tinubu was able to dictate what was going on there, and that was when the issues of that distance. The president started distancing himself from Sanwo-Olu. And if I want to tell you, Sanwo-Olu is not a politician. They just forced him onto that seat, all because they were just they were same American team that were in America together. You're talking of Banikoro, you're talking of Gbajabiamila, you're talking of the president himself, and you're talking of the likes of other people like that. And is that American dream they brought to the politics of Lagos as it is. And I think Sanwo-Olu goofed a lot. He goofed. And what they did, this is a classified information which they are not trying to throw out to people. It's all about the 2 billion that you withdrew in the cover of Lagos State and you gave it to a lady. And the lady, the money now ended up into the campaign purse of one political party.
I can't substantiate what you just
yeah.
said. I don't know where you get your.
I'm telling you, it's a classified
information.
Information. Yes.
All right. Who is governing the state?
It's Sanwo-Olu, right? Sanwo-Olu ought to be in charge of the state because Baba is in Abuja now, and he relegate the job to what's it called?
Relegate the job to who?
Yeah, to Sanwo-Olu, right? As the governor of the Lagos State for now.
And he was democratically elected, right?
He was through the support of someone.
Why is President Bola Tinubu wielding such personal influence over a state government?
The state government too ought not to be dipping his hand into the coffers of the state's treasury and dishing out money as if it's Father Christmas.
Does he own Lagos State? I mean, Tinubu, does he own Lagos State?
Does Sanwo-Olu to owns Lagos? Who brought Sanwo-Olu? Who brought Sanwo-Olu to that part? You see, the problem we always have is when you are looking for people's favor, you go to him every day, you prostrate, you do all sort of things. But when you get that favor from that person, you become the king of yourself. Same thing is happening to what's it called Fubara. The caucus you don't like, you don't need to belong there. Sanwo-Olu belong to that same caucus of American team that they were all in America, and Sanwo-Olu deeming fit that okay, let me just come and test the politics of Nigerian too. And it was the same Tinubu that invited all of them, even Koro, all of them like that. If you start saying about their history, we will stay long here. So I think it's the American dream that they brought to Nigeria, and they know themselves, and they are, checkmating themselves. That's just one thing to say.
Mr. Vincent, you can see the dynasty of Tinubu in Lagos State. You can see his influence. It's all over. When will Lagos State be liberated from the hand of a political godfather like Tinubu in Lagos? When?
You see, first of all, the template is lopsided. It's a faulty premise. You see, even as I speak now, I stand to be corrected. There are no, the ethos of democracy as rightly being performed in other civilized clime is, is absent in this our clime, because everything has to go through one process of godfatherism, and it is not really people oriented, as the case may be, as it were. And when you look at what is happening in Nigeria today, you see that somebody has to be somewhere to throw you up to the corridors of power. And for us to have a shift in that direction, there should be, the template has to be set right, so that it will accommodate a greater input of people, even in deciding who is going to lead them at any point in time. I want to believe for that dynasty, Tinubu dynasty, to be either curtailed or nip in the bud, the template has to be rigid. Then there must be transparent and people-oriented, and that's inclusiveness of people in deciding. That democracy ethos need to be found in all the parties, starting from the party, then to the outside world. So before we can continue to have any semblance of a proper election, that people will say, okay, we are the people that voted him, and on our mandate the person is holding on behalf of the people, and he will not do anything. Even if he does anything contrary to that, the people will have right either to recall him or to do away with him. That's how it is played in every civilized country.
Yeah, I think when my brother is talking of dynasty, it has been existing for long. We have the likes of the Awolowo dynasty. We have the likes of the Shehu Musa Yaradua dynasty, in which tutored the likes of the President Bola Tinubu, the likes of Atiku Abubakar. They were all under Shehu Musa Yaradua dynasty, because I could remember the Hope 93. I was a bit mature then, and I had an uncle that take me all over anywhere he was going. So I think then I learned a lot about politics, in which there's always a godfatherism in politics. And Shehu Musa Yaradua was the godfather of the politics as of then, in which all of them went to bow to him. And it was even the one they lobbied for Abiola to be given that ticket of Hope 93. And those are the godfathers we've been having for a while. And under the dispensation of 1960, we have the godfathers, the people like Awolowo's, the people like Akintola, the people like Zik, Nnamdi Azikiwe. So the godfatherism has always been existent in Nigerian politics. So you cannot never, wash it away. Even in America, the Bush family, there was a time they brought themselves into the seat of the godfatherism, that their generation, and that was what made their generation, the third generation of the Bush family, to be able to rule America. So there's godfatherism everywhere in politics. Politics is a dirty game.
But has it done us good?
It has the side of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like the Shehu Musa Yaradua that produced his junior brother.
Okay.
The junior brother was so productive. May so rest in peace. We will have the best of the best president. And Shehu Musa, the late Yaradua, was the best president Nigerians has ever had. And I think being that man was alive, it will have set the whole thing right.
What about in Lagos State? Has it done more good than harm?
The Lagos politics are the Lagos mercenary as it is. I think when you look at it's only this aspect of this area that we know things are not working much. And I can tell you they are pumping money, they are doing a lot of investments, attracting some investors into that Eco-Atlantic, into that Lagos, Lagos Highland. And I can say they should not stop to just be concentrating on
it
can't help, actually. It can't. I have to tell you the whole truth. It can't help, because you will be in control of your godfather. And your godfather will be in control
of sons.
Of sons.
Yes. Sons.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Will be
And that's what is playing out.
That's what is playing out. Godfather.
And has it helped Lagos State?
In
terms of electing the right person,
all of them are working. Let me tell you, Ambode worked with the system. What's it called? Fashola worked with the system. Then this Sanwo-Olu, I've not seen his job on ground already. I've not seen anything that much he has done. But the Blue Rail line, I think he's taking the glory. Yeah, he's taking the glory of that. But some people started it. But I think the weakness of Sanwo-Olu is what is playing out, because as we are talking now, the the leader of the house in Lagos, Obasa, does not respect Sanwo-Olu. And when it has got to that, degenerated to that level, you should know there is a fire on the mountain. And as it is now, they are cat and mouse. I'm talking of Obasa and Sanwo-Olu, to the extent that when Sanwo-Olu wants to present the budget, they will get him seated for how many hours. They will not attend to him, just to know the superiority battles the two of them are having. But Baba himself in Abuja preferred to sacrifice Sanwo-Olu than what's it called?
Has it helped us in modern politics? Is it permitted in a democratic setting?
No, it is not permitted. When we say democratic setting, it has to embody transparency, the right of the people to vote and be voted for. You cannot just say godfatherism has helped us. It has not taken us anywhere. Instead, it has even regressed the political space or activities of this country or of the state. Many steps backward. We are not making any headway, because when you check the entire the political amphitheater, you will see that Instead of going forward, we are taking many steps backward because it has not really helped us at all. Because the ethos of democratic tenets of which democracy rested on is not being made use of. That is why you continue to see all manners of things being played out. Then some people have already taken it that the public team is their own personal gain and their personal enterprise, which ought not to be. Because every government official, if you are being voted for, you are accountable. You should be brought to account for your stewardship while you hold sway as the head of the state or of any department. And that is how it is being played in every civilized clime all over the globe, because it has not really taken us anywhere. Godfatherism is an anathema to good politicking in this part of the clime.
Mike, the mistake we always do is every one of us have a godfather, right? That will lobby for you when you're looking for job. Every one of us have a godfather. And you could remember that all human beings are political animals, right?
They are political in nature.
In nature, yeah. Animals in nature, political animal in nature. So the way it is now, you cannot tell me that you don't have any godfather. You have a godfather. I still have some people that are still aligned with as
I don't have a godfather.
Godfatherism doesn't mean that the godfather means the way the people reason about godfatherism, it doesn't mean that you're a mafia and that you have to impose all the.
It's not a sin.
It's not really a sin. I have a godfather that can lobby for a job for me to get a job. You know, as it is now in Abuja. I don't even know the road to Abuja, but I can have a godfather that can say, okay, they lead me down. So, okay, I think I will talk to the minister for Abuja Federal Capital Territory to put your name into the list of the accredited new staff they want to get now. And you see, that's part of the godfatherism. So it has its own bad side of it. Likewise, the monopoly in which the people will now monopolize your life. And you are just saying, okay, without them, you can't breathe, and that's another set of
And has it played out well in other climes, Nigeria, other climes?
It has because if it hasn't played well, the Bush family will not have that chances of ruling the third generation, also ruling the American dream, to have the American dream come to reality. I think the godfatherism is all over the globe.
So why haven't we utilized it well?
Well, that is the question.
You see, when you say godfatherism, I don't know in the light at which you are looking at it. Because if you say in our political space, godfatherism has not really taken us anywhere. When you look at the way everything is being played here, it's very, very dirty. And it embodies some form of desperation, some form of illegality also is involved, and they will not throw it at you as if that what they are doing is right. And godfatherism, for crying out loud, has not led us anywhere. It has taken us many steps backward. That is why we said that ethos of democracy need to be thoroughly imbibed. We must not take one and jettison other, because everything has to be holistic, because that is how democracy is being played in every egalitarian society. And if we want to be egalitarian, we also have to follow suit, so that we can move this nation forward. For how long will somebody continue to use? But what we are saying is our collective, it is a commonwealth that is being used for their own personal gain, and it ought not to be. If we must move forward, we must be able to stand and call a spade a spade. That is how democracy is being played. We cannot continue to say, Baba Sokwe, godfatherism. For how long are we going to move forward? Then, by the time other people are even trying to, move from one step to the other, and even trying to advance their cause as a result of development, then we are still stuck, at a point, thinking how one Baba will say this. When we gain so much power to one particular person as being the person that person is playing God on our collective psyche, I think it's not good for our politics.
All right, this will take me to the comment section to see what our esteemed viewers are saying this morning regarding what we are discussing at this time. Anthony Enema, watching from New York City. I loved when Kunle said he got classified information. Imagine the man that has access to information. That's what Anthony is watching us from uh, New York City. On to the next one. Steve. Steve is saying, Kunle, you're doing well. Love you from Oka, Light of the Nation. All right. On to the next one. That's why you are. That's why you are a slave in Nigeria. So you depend on another man's action. This is coming from Baba Yaga. It's not in support of Godfatherism in Nigeria politics. Moving on to Udezi Chima. Kunle, if somebody worked as you affirm, why did Tinubu remove him? You said somebody performed well, and everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. Why did President Bola Tinubu remove him?
Thank you for that question, and I will answer it the way it was then. You see, Ambode did well, but there's nothing worse than not complimenting your successor that started the work. Ambode was trying to take all the glory to himself and diminish the successive, the governor that came on seat, and which will Udeze be able to accept that if somebody played that game on him. I mean, Ambode did well, Fashola did well, likewise, and but the glory of Fashola, Ambode was killing the glory then, and Ambode was, and the wife of Ambode, what happened to the wife? The wife turned to deputy governor, unofficial deputy governor. When last do you hear Fashola wife parading himself, jumping all around herself? I mean, parading herself, jumping all around her, and even punishing Reverend Father. Reverend Father, imagine. So, I mean, and Ambode, a lot of atrocity committed, likewise, that people did not know, right? It's the lawman issues that he acquired for his wife in landscape in Obudu there, and there was no productivity on it. Lagos was so dirty. Lagos was so dirty, and then so Ambode has his own rights, the right things he did, and he has a bad aspect of it in which the wife, anything you are doing in life, just let your wife stay cleared away from the governance. She can be the first lady, but let her stay away from the governance.
Let her stay in the kitchen.
The kitchen.
Buhari said it to Aisha Buhari.
Your constituency
in the kitchen. All right, let's move down to Tanimola Joseph. You're welcome on the program, Tanimola Joseph. Thank you so much for joining us. Tinubu is not a role model. Tinubu should focus on the security and hunger problems rather than bullying someone. And we still have, can I pronounce this name? Okay, Calix. It was not Bat, but Sheyi who had his hands on that Obasa issue. Okay, it was not BAT. That's what Bola Tinubu I did that. It was Sheyi Tinubu. All right, let's move down to another person in the comment section before we move to another topic. Was Udeze Chima saying here? I think I skipped. Okay, Mr. Vincent, can we call this shenanigans democracy?
No, we absolutely no, not. We cannot call shenanigans democracy because democracy itself is so crystal clear, and how it's being played in other civilized times. By the time you now imbibe shenanigans into it, it's no more democracy. It's already faulted. I want to believe that shenanigans is not part of democracy. Democracy ethos need to be imbibed wholly. That is how it's supposed to be played. And in a situation whereby all these shenanigans, godfatherism, somebody's playing the mafia or the cabal somewhere dictating after you have already ruled at a point as a governor, who was dictating to you then? You now turn yourself to playing God by yourself on the public team. I think it's not good for our democracy.
Thank you so much, colleagues. We appreciate your comments. We appreciate your contribution on the platform, colleagues. You're welcome on the program. All right, quickly to what Ali Ndume said about the 2027 election. And he has sounded a warning to President Bola Tinubu, which I believe he should be listening to. Yeah, President Bola Tinubu should listen to it. He said, despite the support of PDP governors, sorry, I don't want to support of governors, 22 governors in 2015. At the end of the day, good luck, Ebele Jonathan lost the election. So Tinubu should not think the backing of the eastern governors, the western governors, will give him that victory come 2023. This means he has so much to do. He has work to do.
Definitely, President Bola Tinubu has a lot of things to do. Check when you check the trajectory of politics in our class, you will see that it's about the north and the south mostly. And when you check the demographics, even said the one that threw Tinubu to power, you see that Tinubu scored over 62% of the vote, mostly in the north, not in even the south or southeast or southwest. And you will see, and in the north, the northern bloc now says that they are not going to support Tinubu. You know that what that means? That is why he is not losing sleep. He is trying to see that how he can mend forces. But when you check the entire demographics of, the demographics of politicking in Nigeria, you see that if the North is holding to 50% of the vote, the South is holding to 50%. It means that President Bola Tinubu needs to just guide his loins to be able to test waters and test it without coming out unabashed. I want to believe that when you look at the entire scenario, what he's trying to do now is it's a clarion call for him to wake up and not to just sleep and sleep over it. Because whosoever is criticizing for him to be able to wake up. We are just 2 years in the service of his administration. He still has 2 more years to turn things around. I want to believe that 2 more years is even big enough to turn things around, to change the narrative of the lives of every Nigerian in our politics. If President Bola Tinubu really meant well for the collective good of this country, he should try and listen to the yearnings of Nigeria concerning the primary needs. That's food, hunger, employment, clothing, and everything needs to be seen to. Then security of the most paramount of all the indices that I've mentioned. Security needs to be critically looked into so that Nigeria can have a semblance of a safe society. I want to believe that that is how it's supposed to do. A mandate is not just given to you to go and sleep. It is meant for you to be proactive and to work. And that is how governance is wrong.
Only is Tinubu walking the same path to failure? Looking at what Ali Ndume said about Jonathan in 2015, this is a person that gave out money, rolled out money during the 2015 election. At the end of the day, even at some point, he went to the Obas, the kings in the western region. He went there, went to Alaafin of Oyo, went to Onofife, and at some I saw the Obas using their staff to pray for him. But Jonathan, at the end of the day, he lost it all.
I think the Ndume himself is the mouthpiece of the North now. Ndume is the mouthpiece of the North. So I'm not really concerned about what he's saying now because it has been like that. He always makes himself to stand out and to defend his region. And I can tell you, the Northern bloc that we are talking of has been depleted. And what am I saying? The North Central have carved out from the, I'm talking of the Benue, Kogi, axis, and what's it called? Even Kwara. I mean, they said they are no more in alliance. So you can see now that the North bloc we've been talking of that they think is still one together. It's no more one together. And I can say, what I want in my life now is not all about who is there. I want a liberation for my life so that no region will now tag me as a second citizen. The rights other region has, I should be able to have it in my own domain I am. And that is what I'm fighting for. And that is what, if I can see any president that is bold enough to get that done for me, man, I can do anything for that person. So for him to actualize, I can do anything for that person to actualize what he wants to actualize. Because I cannot be a slave in my country.
All right, moving down to the comment section again was the great one saying, the great one is here this morning. Muki Great, welcome on the program.
Hey, Mr. Moki.
Thank you so much.
One love, Baba.
One love.
All right, and what's he saying? He will win 80% of the votes. That's he's supporting President Bola Tinubu.
Yeah.
Tinubu will win 80% of the votes. This is from Muki Great. And Ali Ndume is like Wike unstable electricity. This is coming from Nnamdi Ohanoze, all the way from Netherlands. Ali Ndume is like wicked, unstable electricity. Kali is 60 years, what you saying? All right, you mean for, okay, former NEPA. All right, Yabayaga, is the same script that these politicians keep using every time. Yabayaga. All right, moving on to Williams Okameme, all the way from United Kingdom. How many more people will die in hunger before it turns things around?
Okay, thank you very much. I think I have to say this
Like
the way it is. You can't be fighting war, right? Internal war, and still expect that there won't be food shortage, because all your enemies, they are blocking all the routes that you can even bring the food to. Even as I'm talking to you now, the farmers in the north, they are complaining that all these terrorists, they are blocking their route to. And one thing the government did that was coming too late was they ought to have been more proactive than these people. But since the proactiveness did not come in time, but it's better to come late than never. And I think majority of, give it to our combat soldiers. We celebrated Salah here with our family. They were still in the trench of battle,
defending the country.
Defending the country. What else? What sacrifice? They asked us, every one of us now, if they ask us to come and join soldiers to defend your country, you could see what happened in Ukraine. Everybody sacrificed. Even the guy that went for a boxing bout, had to, postpone, his fight because of his country. That I want to fight for my country. I want to defend my country. How many people are ready to defend Nigerians? How many people?
All right, on the issue of godfatherism, Udozi Chima stated something here. When a slave is in love with his chains, he sees it as a bangle. Wow. On to the next one, Andrew Ogungimi. I don't think Jonathan lost 2015. He only gave peace a chance. My ambition is not worth any Nigerian blood. Best politician.
I want to reply to Andrew Ogungimi. I know that statement was credited to President Bola Jonathan. And in a proper democratic setting, would you have allowed blood to be shed? Because any good leader that throw himself to power should be able to embody the values of decency and decorum in whatever he or she does. I want to believe that Jonathan was trying to play good politics, though he got his hand burnt by doing so, because this is a climb where we don't take things right. That is why he suffered that defeat. On the performance, I will still give Jonathan a much better grade than the current regime that we are under him. And I want to also say is that I want to reply to Mr. Muki Great. You might say, because I have to respect your opinion, you might say Tinubu will get 80%, because that will amount to being overconfident. Because in election, it depends, because elections in any civilized life is based on numericals, and those people that wants to have it intact always play decent politics. I want to believe that it is only people, if people have a major input, I don't think that 80% that Mr. Muki Great mentioned would have been gotten.
All right, hello. Before I let you go, Kunle, let's take this from Sylvester Nwanze. Kunle, please tell us what the citizens of Nigeria have ever benefited from Nigeria that you expect someone to die for.
Okay. I started this prior to the election. When this president was coming up to contest for the presidency, I stood my ground. I stood my ground on that Mr. President. And what happened? He became the president. I'm still standing my ground on Mr. President, that they will change, they will see the Renew Hope agenda. But the problem now is, how can we tame this insecurity? It's a collective thing. Once you leave that security of the country to the president alone, and you think he's a commander-in-chief of armed forces, and you see something, you don't say something, you are doomed for it. And I can tell you wholeheartedly, it's a collective issue that we have to. We need to love this country, because for now, we are still Nigeria. We don't have a dual citizenship. And anything that happened within us is, it can't be food, for God's sake, because these people want to starve you. They want to starve on that battlefield. They want to starve average Nigerians so that there won't be any food, and they will weaken the government. And that is an agenda. I can tell you it's a conquest agenda. But until we wake up from the slumber to realize that there was a conquest agenda by Usman Danfodio that the Fulanis are carrying out now. I mean, that's my stake.
City Stand. City Stand.